let the holidays and times get you down. You may surprise yourself by what you can actually do even just by listening for this sound. By giving it 15 seconds of your time, you're helping creators who are using their skills with making music, making templates to get the engagement needed. For more information about how this works, feel free to check out the original creator of this music and how she is using that to donate the proceeds to those in the Congo. I have 6 fiction and nonfiction recommendations that I am here to share with you, taking place in Congo and other countries within Africa that help tell a common theme: colonialism and genocide. That shit ain't right. I'm gonna start with the most devastating book, and I think this might be the only actual truly nonfiction book in the recommendation list. Let me set the scene. It is 2021, and HBO Max is the supreme goddess among mere mortals when it comes to streaming services. They had just released this miniseries by the director Raoul Peck. When I watched it, and I was so emotionally impacted by his interpretation of the S as a Haitian man, that I had to immediately go out and buy this. There are so many trigger warnings with that miniseries, with this writing, but it is such a well-written, a well-directed, a well-envisioned argument against colonialism, genocide, what happened to the indigenous people in America, and what happened to the people in Africa, specifically in the Congo. Heartbreaking, just fucking devastating. That last book and my current audiobook all mentioned this book. This is a classic in telling the story of just the darkness in men, but specifically, and I do believe, and clearly I have a bias, right? Because of the other things that I recommend, references this, but I do believe that Joseph Conrad was really trying to expose, say something, comment on his government and monarchy's involvement, role in the atrocities that happened in the Congo. Like King Leopold is at fault. Audiobook, gonna plug it right now. Love it. And I'm sure a review is coming soon. Sounds so flippant. I mean, I'm learning a lot from it, and I'm sure the review is coming soon. If you haven't gotten around to this, if you're a new reader, but you have read things like The Daughter of Dr. Monroe and you like those type of stories that really talk about the darkness within, then this is definitely a book that you need to read. It's going to help you understand why this story is told so often, how it's a valid and terrifying fear. Last book on the list that's going to be by a white voice. This is a historical novel by a white American woman who gives a surprising take on missionaries carrying out their work within Africa, specifically in the Congo. The take being is, it's fucked up and it's colonialism. It's a story that takes place in the 1960s through the 1990s, and it follows a Baptist preacher, Nathan, but is told from the perspective of the wife and daughters that he drug on his mission to the Congo. Let me just say that Nathan doesn't come out looking good, as he should. As he shouldn't. He shouldn't. He's a bad guy. This book, first book that I read by this author, it made me fall in love with her, and it's the reason why I've picked up so many of her other books since. Did I say that the last book was going to be the last book written by a white person? Because I lied. This book is the only book written by Dave Eggers that I've actually enjoyed. Not that he's a bad writer, I just don't like his stories. But if you take his writing and tell a more compelling story, then you get this book. And I get this book. I enjoy it. This book recommendation and the next 2 are going to be good book recommendations because it does take it a step further when it comes to uplifting African voices. But this is a fictional biography of Valentino. Valentino was considered one of the lost boys of Sudan, and it tells his journey. Since it is a harrowing journey and it is considered a fictional biography, you can disassociate or associate the amount of reality you need in order to take this tale fully as it is. No list of African books about colonialism and the effects upon the region is complete without this African trilogy. The first book in it is very well known for many reasons. This is a classic. This story is so universal in how heartbreaking it is. It takes place in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it starts with a very proud Igbo warrior who's being confronted with the British Empire and what that means for him. This is a must read and a must listen. Honestly, it inspires everyone from musicians to war criminals. Democratic Party in the US government. We can do better, right? USA, come on. My last book on this list is going to be a more modern tale of Things Fall Apart. It is also by a Nigerian author, and it focuses on a Nigerian cab driver in New York City who gets offered and then takes a journey to steal a deity statue from his village. So that way he can sell it to a high-end Manhattan art gallery. Those sus feelings you got better be for the art gallery and not for the story. But if you're unsure, trust me, pick up this globe-trotting caper and it will have you thinking in the end. If you've read these books, or if you have any recommendations that can help us diversify our shelves, make sure to leave them in the comments. Let me know what you know so that way I can grow with y'all.